Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. We'll be back next month with new episodes, but in the meantime, I've been having a lot of fun digging through our archive that isn't easily available anymore and making sure that some of the highlights make it over onto the new feed. This episode that we have here today is really fun. We recorded it in December of 2018, and it's an episode we reference a lot even today. This is the episode where we look through a pamphlet called the Psychonaut Field Manual by this guy Blue Fluke, and it's all about chaos magic and how to summon little demons to do your actual real world bidding. Basically, anytime we talk about magic on this podcast, we bring Blue Fluke up, so I'm glad you're going to finally be able to hear it. That's it for me. Follow us on Twitter at Brian and Eric Pod, or send us an email to spookybriananderic@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll catch you next week. Everybody, and welcome to Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. We're here every Friday night live on Mixlr.com/Brian and Eric talking about ghouls and ghosts and conspiracies and other weird things we find on the internet throughout the week. I'm here, as always, with my friend, co-host, and colleague, Mr. Eric Brenner. Eric, what's going on, man?
Nothing, dude. I'm still reeling from our last episode when we dove pretty deeply into a dark, kinky rabbit hole.
Oh, right. Yeah, we talked about a wife shitting in a husband, or a husband accidentally shitting into a wife's mouth.
Other way. Wife shitting into husband. No, wait, you're right.
I was
husband,
right.
Wife, mouth. Yeah.
And, not a traditional urban legend or a conspiracy, but truly shaking.
I'd like to spread that one around.
Yeah, fuck, dog. Man, how was your week? How you been?
It was good. It was pretty good. Coming up on the holidays, feeling nice, feeling fine. We got Secret Santa stuff coming up. Feel like that's a little bit of a pressure, but...
Right. It is. Oh, yeah.
How are you doing with that?
I'm done already.
You
I'm
did
done.
it.
I had an easy pick this year. It's our office does.
Oh, yeah, you did have... Yeah.
Our office has a yearly Secret Santa coming up on the holiday season, and it's always a lot of fun. I always feel like I get a name who I don't know, and I have to do a lot of research, and then it always turns out that they don't have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
And, I kind of have to wing it. This year I got a real easy one, which is great.
Some people don't have hobbies.
I feel like every dad doesn't have hobbies.
They slowly erode. Just the winds of time just blow them away.
My dad's hobby is being left alone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so I don't always know what to do for Christmas.
Yeah.
So you're having trouble with your Secret Santa?
Only because I don't want to spoil. I mean, the odds of this person ever listening to this podcast or whatever.
No one listens to this podcast.
Zero, which that's a liberating fact. I like that. This is our space. He is the type of person with. He's quite an accomplished, intelligent fella, very funny guy, and he has several very interesting hobbies and interests in which he's very deeply involved and he's a level 9 black belt in all the shit that he likes. So I feel like as a newbie, he likes anime and Japanese shit and
it's a bit like a parent trying
strange snacks. Yeah, I'm worried that it's going to come off as condescending.
Right.
If I'm here's a fun Naruto cape. It's like, come on, man. That's just like a dick move now.
You like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like this?
Yeah, like trying to be supportive. The lame parent trying to be supportive.
Oh, I was real into anime in fucking high school, and that was my parents of
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, this is actually apropos of this podcast. As a young man, in elementary school, I was actually interested in magic, like the occult magic.
Oh, okay.
Like the real
not close-up magic?
No, well, that too, but that was a different, even lonelier time. No, but interested in the occult, real magic, spells, is that real? And my mom for Christmas got me this feminist Wiccan book of woman spells. when I was in like
So
5th
just
grade.
the my fiance's like wet dream of a Christmas gift.
Legit, I'm gonna try to actually root around for this book for Emily because I think it might really be. up her
Actually,
alley.
that would make some Christmas shopping real easy for
Yeah,
me if
let
you
me
can.
see if I can. It's probably in my basement of my
yeah,
parents' house.
yeah. If
for
you can
sure.
go ahead and get that, that would solve some gift getting
There
for
was
me.
literally like blood moon magic. And I was like a 10-year-old boy, just like, oh no, oh no.
I can't wait till I get my period.
Yeah, like literally, that's really what it was. It was like a book about female puberty.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but
That's
they tried. They definitely tried.
I hats off to the parents who are just fucking trying,
like,
man.
let's
With their
run with it. Let's
their
not.
weird fucking kid.
Yeah, it's not like my dad. Like he didn't like get me a football jersey. You know, it's like
Right.
they really tried to do the thing.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Parents rule. Good job, parents.
Mhm.
How's the rest of your like Christmas season going? I mean, like, if you started Christmas shopping, if you
No, I just Amazon everything.
yeah,
Our corporate overlords are here.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
it's like at
Very
the end of the day, just
convenient.
people used to have to like go to the store
Yeah,
and like get stuff.
That's actually, here's the thing, is like I think there's a lot of things about our hyper modern existence that are terrible. Not having to go, like the fact that the internet has single handedly destroyed the big box experience is just a overall good. I think.
Yeah, I mean its own little fucking Pandora's box of terrible, but
Sure.
Ultimately, man,
Nobody. I
man.
mean, yeah, it's destroyed. Nobody who likes those jobs though.
right.
That
Right.
are gone now. I mean, I hope those people who used to do that are doing something and not unemployed. But like, nobody liked those jobs. Like working Black Friday is a fucking
It's a fucking
it's
nightmare.
horrible.
Don't at me of like how we're wrong on this.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I hope we have one. I hope we have one follower, and it's just an economist who's telling us how we're totally.
Here's
wrong.
how. Don't now. Hello, I'm an economist. Here's how you're wrong on the Amazon Christmas shopping
Yeah.
thing and how that's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, yeah,
Now back to the ghosts and magic.
yeah. Come for the economic inaccuracies. Stay for the spirits.
Let's see. Should we get into what we came down here for? To the stacks.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down to dive in. We're here in the stacks with something of a modern day grimoire.
Yeah. So we were looking for something to talk about, and you came to me with this earlier this week.
Yeah.
And you sent it to me.
I bothered you about this before this podcast was even a thing.
You have sent this to me before. I do remember it. It is very striking.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, so we kind of had a loose plan of we were both going to read it and then
Yeah,
talk about it today.
Yeah.
I want to say, pages in before I went, I don't know what the fuck this is,
yeah.
and I'm out. And I tapped the fuck out.
I think you need to actually read it. Not you, but anybody attempting to read this. You almost need to read it like a comic book.
Sure.
Like you need to be like, oh, here's this made up world. I compared it to a tabletop RPG system.
Right.
Like you kind of got to leaf through it in that
sure.
because you read those manuals.
I do.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I guess this document, this grimoire
Yeah.
you sent me earlier this week is called the Psychonaut Field Manual,
Yep.
and the author of this is Archtrader Blue Fluke.
Yeah, I think he just goes by Blue Fluke on his like DeviantArt account where this.
Okay,
is posted.
okay, and it's worth noting that this document, this book, 44 pages, including like cover and back cover.
Yeah.
It's a 44-page PDF,
Yep.
and it's incredibly illustrated. It does, in fact, look almost like a comic book, and it's filled with this incredibly designed art and everything else is, how do I phrase nonsense?
Yeah, I was gonna say everything else aside, regardless of how skeptical you are about this stuff, Blue Fluke is an incredible artist. He's an amazing artist.
Can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
So did you want to? So it's called the Psychonaut Field Manual.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's everything about this is kind of crazy. So what it is, what he's done, what Blue Fluke has done is basically condense. So there's a lot of books and a lot has been written about I get a discipline or a school of magic called chaos magic, and what Blue Fluke has done is basically condensed all of it into a 44-page guide. illustrated guide.
And chaos magic, this is a thing that people really like practice. Right?
It's very popular. It's
Yeah.
like a very like celebrities are into it now. I mean, the guy like I know like Henry's like the last podcast guys, Henry and Marcus like do it.
Interesting.
Henry has credited his casting on Heroes to chaos, like a chaos magic ritual he did to like bend reality.
Fascinating.
It's very funny. It's you know what it kind of is? It's kind of like, you know, The Secret, that book, The Secret?
Yes.
That, like, manifesting your
Which I only
desires.
this year learned that's what it was. For all this time,
You
I remember
just didn't know what The Secret was?
Well, yes.
What is The Secret?
I mean, no, it's like I saw the cover and I just assumed it was some novel everyone was reading. I didn't realize it
it
was
does
a fucking.
kind of look like a Dan Brown book or something.
It does. It does. It has like a wax like.
Yeah.
and it just looked like a fucking bad novel.
Like it's about the pyramids or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What is The Secret exactly?
So I've actually never read The Secret, but the premise of The Secret, which is kind of a popularization or a condensation of something called New Thought, which was pretty big around the turn of the century, last century, is this idea that your mind, your persistent thought patterns, and your desires, should you sort of invest them with enough intensity and focus, can actually change reality and manifest in reality.
Interesting. So just sort of will it into existence, positive thinking.
It's
type of
exactly
thing.
it. That's
Okay.
it's positive thinking. And now there's if you put this on a spectrum, right? Like there's a very rational, practical side to this, which is like, if you want anything in the world,
Yeah.
you have to know what it is, and you
Right.
have to want it, and you have to do that thing. Like we
Right.
wanted to start this podcast, so we were like, let's start the pod. Like
Right.
we couldn't start this podcast unless we wanted to, and we had
The
that.
secret.
And that's the secret. We did it. But then there's
How do we manifest people to listen to it?
That's what we're working on, Brian. That would actually be such a funny, crazy, appropriate experiment for this show if we use some of Blue Fluke's methods to try to manifest an audience.
I absolutely think that's what we're going to do now.
I think we have
You
to.
are going to explain this book to me. You're going to give me the Cliff Notes version of this book. Because
Sure.
let me once again stress, I cannot read this.
Brian can't read it. He cannot read it. It hurts his eyes. It's not good. So okay, and then so the other end of the spectrum, away from the very practical, like obvious stuff, like, and then, you know, like professional athletes use visualization,
Right.
like that's a very kind of accepted. There's psychological studies on some of this stuff that it is real, but in a very practical,
Right.
non-magical way. The sort of far end of this is like the idea of, it's like, I want a Ferrari, so I write that down 50 times a day until it happens. You know, like it's
Sure.
it's like a very specific materialistic outcome without necessarily investing any of the real world effort.
Right.
You would have to get, like, okay, well, then you need a promotion and you need a new job, and then you need to save up money, and then you buy the Ferrari. It's more like, no, the Ferrari will manifest, like, my great uncle will die and bequeath me a Ferrari, that kind of
Gotcha.
that kind of deal. So it's kind of like, I think proponents of it would say that you're like kind of bending probability and chance in your favor
Sure.
via
Okay.
this disciplined action of thought and mind.
Got it.
So that's
got
the
it.
secret. That's the deal with the secret.
Gotcha. Okay. Practically it makes sense of like, yeah. I don't know about that other end of it of manifesting an uncle to die, but
Yeah. Don't kill your uncles
don't
with
kill
your brain.
don't kill your
That's
uncles
bad.
with your brain for a Ferrari.
Don't do that. That sounds like the plot of a sick 80s movie.
The Secret.
Yeah.
Murder.
Yeah. Just guitar solo. A lot of Hawaiian shirts.
Love it. Let's make that movie. Fuck this
Sure.
podcast. What are we doing?
We're
making
out
a
of
po-
here, guy. We're fucked up.
What are we doing making a podcast when we have to be going back in time to making sick 80s movies?
Yeah, printing out 44-page PDF chaos magic manuals.
Not
Idiots.
to throw you immediately under the bus, but I believe you've also printed this out in full color.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what the Office ink supply is for.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I would never use Office company resources.
It's all good. HR's not listening to this.
They sure aren't, Brian. They sure aren't.
Okay. So I want to get into this book.
Do you know, was there a specific point where you stopped? Was there a specific thing that you hit and you're like, that ripcorded you? Or was it just a general slow fatigue that set in?
Chapter 1, in the introduction, so we've got an introduction, and then we go into Chapter 1, which is level 1, belief is a tool, and I was immediately like, all right.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's when I start already skimming, and then I get to...
I would be very interested in Emily's opinion on all
Yeah,
this, by the way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I will definitely talk to her about it. So after Chapter 1, I immediately kind of am in admittedly bad faith and start skimming.
Sure.
And then I hit stuff like, level 8, the second big spirit. So what is a local spirit? To fully grasp the answer, you must accept that you are not your brain. You are software called the self-conscious. And I went, I'm done with this.
I'm out. I'm out of here. Very funny. One of my favorite parts of your character is that if you are into something, you are whole hog into it. If you are not into, you are the horse that can be led to every body of water and you will not drink a drop.
That has been an issue my entire life.
But it's a beautiful thing because when you're truly passionate about something, you soar like a dragon above the plains.
Oh man, no, it's always been a thing of like if I'm not into, and the problem is that
you can't fake it.
That is reflected school. That is reflected work. Like,
Sure.
If I'm not into it, meh.
I think you're just an honest human. You're just a. Yeah, I love that about you. But yeah, okay. So fair enough. Did you enjoy the art?
The art is
it's pretty cool.
Absolutely very stylish.
Very unique style.
A lot of naked angel types, but very, very neat.
Yeah, sort of like not asexual, but sort of I would almost like you can't quite tell what gender they are. It's a sort of weird celestial like sex entities.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really cool.
It's very cool.
The lights in our studio just went out because they're on a timer.
Are you sure? I'm very afraid.
It is no shit. We are currently in the stacks of the New York Public Library, and the lights have in fact gone out.
Yeah, in this like study room area.
It's so truly spooky. So I'm gonna get up and trigger the motion center sensor.
Please do.
Eric, please vamp.
What's a vamp?
Not a vampire. Just talk.
Oh, sure, I can definitely do that. So Brian is currently getting. It is so spooky in here. He's like lit only by the dim glow of a computer, and they're back on. Thank God. My heart rate was just getting to dangerous levels. We cracked a Coca-Cola. We're back. The lights are on. That was very scary.
It's like, of course that had to fucking happen. Our setup this week is a little upgraded. We have a topic that's interesting.
Setup. We have a nice setup going.
We found some equipment in the stacks, and we're giving it a run through. We're really excited about that. And the fucking timer on the lights just has to go out sometimes.
Yeah, we found this kind of room sort of in the back. Because before we were just like literally at a table hoping nobody would come by. Now we kind of found a room. I guess it's probably like it's almost like if you're ever in a school library, like a graduate study kind of room. But but I guess the lights are on a sensor. So
yeah, I guess that's the trade-off for the seclusion we've afforded ourselves.
Sure. Okay, yeah. So let's get it. Let's get into this.
Let's
thing.
Finally get into this fucking thing.
So I will say that he to Blue Fluke's credit, he didn't really. He's kind of condensing what is already a thing. So I'm gonna butcher this because I'm no chaos magic scholar. I think it's a very like interesting cultural movement, but I'm not an expert. I don't practice it. I think it's interesting. But the basic idea is, so chaos magic is almost like you take the positive thought stuff and you kind of wrap it up with the idea of like magical ritual, except you throw out all tradition and you strip it down to its barest bones. So they're just saying like you use ritual as a tool for belief, to create belief, which will then create things in reality.
Right. Okay. And that's interesting because, like, the first chapter is all about kind of how belief is the most important. Like, you have to believe in this or it ain't going to work.
Yeah, it's all belief. It's all it's basically like it's basically an attempt to manipulate the placebo effect. But he would, I think they would claim that the placebo effect can do some pretty crazy shit.
Which is true.
I think so. I think that is true.
Most of the time, the placebo effect, though, people don't know it's a placebo when they're taking it. But okay, chaos magic.
Sure.
So I guess how would you respond to? Because my initial thing was so the first chapter. And like I said, this whole thing is laid out almost like a comic book in of itself, and it has little cartoons and like dialogue bubbles.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read
Sure.
from the book.
Sure.
This is the
Yeah, do it.
4th page of the PDF. Any damned fool can operate any of the following tech, provided they believe that they can. Belief is not only the first tool you'll master on your journey, but also the most powerful. Faith moves mountains and shit. Call it imposition of the will, call it the placebo effect, call it the descent in the madness. Regardless, magic works. And then it depicts, the little cartoon depicts a young woman sort of in like a meditative pose, and she says, "See, nothing is happening. See, I knew magic was bullshit." Versus the woman has like a little angel beside her and sort of a halo effect, and the versus is, "Holy fuck, this is awesome. I knew it would work." So my question is, do you feel it's a little bit of a gimme that, like, oh, it didn't work because you didn't believe hard enough?
Well, I mean, that's what's interesting about chaos magic as an idea. It's like the whole idea is that it's fake and true at the same time.
Got it.
They don't claim. I don't think someone who's really into this would claim that any of this is real, but it's as real as you make it. It's
Right.
as real as the effect it has on your life.
Right, man, that's a real mind puzzle there.
Yeah. Wrap
That's
your brain around
That's
that
a
one.
fucking labyrinth, man, that
Yeah,
I am lost in, and the
hop on in.
Minotaur is hot on my goddamn heels.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like, if you go to any of the subreddits, of which there are a few, like, it's all about not taking yourself or any of this too seriously,
Right.
but finding ways to manipulate your own belief to create the outcomes that you're looking for.
Sure.
But it gets weird because some of the outcomes we're talking about are like visualizing or manifesting an entity, like an external thing.
Right. Because that's what later in this document, we don't go from like, oh, I want to get a promotion, so believe it and put the work in.
Yeah.
It's not that. There is some, we have the right hand of Eris. Now
Sure.
it's time to design, program, and execute a simple servitor and tarot decks. Dude, all this stuff is third eye artificing.
Yeah, classic. That's your basic 101 third eye artificing, Brian.
Please, do you know anything about this?
What page are you on?
This is page 8 of the PDF. So, it basically there's a segment here that reads: visual glitches are a common side effect of awakening. You may experience brightly colored or shadowy images and or beings. Discerning whether or not these are astral or hallucinogenic is simple. If astral, you'll feel a sort of presence. Elsewhere, it's just meaningless gibberish. Making these visualizations go away is equally simple. Drink some booze. Alcohol works by slowly shutting down the brain, starting with the higher functions, forebrain, superconscious, and working its way down to the lower functions, hindrance, subconscious. So a little buzz should be all that is needed to suspend any and all unwanted extracurricular visuals. This method also debunks the whole third eye equals pineal gland theory, as the pineal gland is a lower brain function. It must also be stated that tinnitus and shivering are fairly common side effects here as well. They come and go, but there is, to my knowledge, no cure or workaround for these symptoms.
I'll say this: Blue Fluke is he's real loose with throwing around the science.
That's kind of the kind of like internet hucksters where they just
Yes,
throw
yes,
around
yes,
a whole
yes,
bunch of
yes.
BS and just knowing you're not going to look this up on your own, and it
Yeah.
sounds legit enough.
Well, what's funny is like I guess the charitable interpretation of this is like clear. Like I don't think there's really any basis, like scientific basis, for what he's saying at all. Obviously, but I think maybe like to devil's advocate, like try to take the chaos magician standpoint, would just say, well, like scientific language and framework is just another framework of belief. This is very like
Right, sure.
postmodern. Like this is very
Right.
this is like it's another framework of belief. So if this so for example, in chaos magic, there's like a spiritual explanation, a psychological explanation that you're just manipulating your subconscious, like a weird kind of shady quantum physics explanation where it's like this is just like information in the universe, and information acts on energy and matter and whatever. So you can sort of justify this on different
Sure.
levels and different sort of like systems of belief. And I think what they would say is use whatever one and switch between them in a way that is most persuasive to you,
Right.
so you believe it the most, so it does something in your life. So what this means, I have no idea. I have zero idea. I don't know what a third eye glitch. I think what he's talking about is basically you're like working on visualization
Right.
as a thing, which is a thing. I mean, you can practice visualization. You can improve your ability to visualize things.
Right.
And I think he's saying if you work on that hard enough or too hard or too fast, you can start to see weird things in your visual field, which maybe is true.
Right.
I don't think it's I mean, like, are you seeing real entities? Is this like a four-brain supercon? Like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, can we talk about the servitors?
Sure. Servitors that's an interesting concept.
And like this isn't this isn't deep in there. This is on page 7.
Yeah, this is basic shit, bro. The servitor is a basic.
It appears to be a ritual using tarot cards that will summon a little guy to come help you out.
So here's the deal with the here's my understanding of how
Tell
a
me
servitor-
fucking everything, dog.
Let's get in here. So before servitors, even the more basic thing is something called like sigils, like sigil magic.
Sure.
And the idea of a sigil is this is like the most direct connection to sort of like positive thinking, new thought, the secret.
Right.
You take your intention, your desire, whatever. You write it out as specifically and succinctly as possible. You eliminate all the vowels and all the duplicate letters, so you're left with a string of characters.
Right.
And then you morph those characters. You sort of converge them, condense them, and create a symbol or a sigil.
And that's depicted here in the book.
Yes. So say we like want more listeners for our podcast.
Oh, we're trying this.
We make the sigil for that thing.
We're doing this.
And then there's different ways of activating the sigil. Some people will like burn it. Some people will like literally like come. Like there's a whole like sex magic. That's what, in last podcast on the left, Henry Zabrowski talks about that.
All right.
That's how that's what he credits getting his role in Heroes to, is like making a sigil for it and like jerking off on it. Fucking unreal.
I mean, hey man.
You come into work on Monday, you're like a millionaire, you like won the lottery. It's like, I had a lot of tabs open over the weekend. It's really, Emily was gone for 10 minutes. I'm going to LA. Fuck you.
I'm rich now.
Yeah,
Fucking
I'm rich,
demon made
bitch.
it happen. A cum demon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I get.
Okay, so to just not lose the servitor track, right?
Right.
So this is like you manifest you basically and I'm going to go with the psychological explanation for this stuff.
Great.
Just because I think it's the most familiar. I'm not saying I believe it or it's plausible,
Right.
but I think it's like the thing that is most relatable.
Great.
So the idea would be that what you're doing is you're clarifying what you actually want to happen, and then you're sort of implanting this thing in your subconscious mind and trying to forget about it. It's important. One of the characteristics of the sigil is that it shouldn't actually, like, you're not actually spelling out the desire. You're transforming it into like an abstract shape or symbol.
Got it.
And then you're forgetting about it. And the idea is that you're kind of implanting it in your unconscious mind. So now your brain is like working on it in the background. It's like if you go to sleep thinking about a creative problem and you wake up in the middle of the night and you've like solved it, or you think of the ending of the story. It's that kind of mechanism, I think, that's at play. Now, a servitor is almost like, as it's described in here, it's almost like a sentient sigil. It's almost like you're installing a simple piece of software in your brain. So if a sigil is like a lens you can attach to your subconscious that's now looking for specific opportunities to manifest this desire. So it's like, oh, you want to find a new girlfriend or you want a new job. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're paying more attention to LinkedIn. You're doing whatever.
Right.
A servitor is almost like a more complex thing. Like, say you make a servitor that's like, I want to be more confident, or I would like to turn, I don't know, fucking like negative energy directed at me into positive energy. It's almost like a thing you're implanting in your subconscious. And here it's described and depicted as like an actual entity that's following you around, kind of like doing this thing for you all the time, like a little robot or a drone, like following you around. You can almost visualize it as like an algorithm that's running in your subconscious. That's a little more complex than it's almost like a behavior rather than one specific outcome.
Sure.
So that's what. And so what he's doing in here, which is pretty brilliant, and this is echoed in other like chaos magic literature and shit, is the idea is to make these things as like, it's like making a character in D&D. Like, you're not just like, I have like a level 1 rogue elf, and what, like, you give things a backstory, you give it texture, you give it a little more emotional resonance, so you believe in it more.
That's interesting.
I think that's, does that make sense?
That makes sense. Which makes the next part more interesting to me. So in explaining, let's see. So the literal, I'm just going to read directly from the book again, because a lot of it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so in talking about this cum demon, the book does not talk about the coming as much, but
cum demon is the next edition.
Yeah. So this is talking about the little sigil creature that will help you.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, enter a state of gnosis, and visualize your sigil. Imagine it as a living being whose sole purpose is to cheerfully complete its given task, which for us will be marketing this podcast.
Sure.
Do this exercise for as long and as often as you can for at least a week. When out and about your daily life, imagine it following you around, either behind you or just out of sight. Try to feel its presence. For simple servitors, it's important to never get attached. Don't assign a name, voice, or personality to them.
Yeah.
So the segment after that is, it's headed delete. It is vital. Vital is, pronounced in the text, that once your servitor has completed its task, that you delete it. If you fail to do so, it will grow, become resentful, and possibly turn on you. Deletion is simple. Ignore it. Since your attention is its food, by giving it none, it starves to death. This is why you never assign a personality and such. To do otherwise may grant it sentiency, and it would be cruel to both the servitor and you. What's that about, dog?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is where we get, like, this is where it gets so interesting to me, where it's like, it's literally a set of kind of, if you're a skeptic like I am, it's a set of made up rules that are fascinating to read and have I literally read this like a D&D manual.
Right.
Like, I think this is as real as like reading about D&D lore.
All real.
Of
the
Greyhawk.
Forgotten Realms are real.
They're super real. So it's as fascinating and well written and coherent and hangs together and has like internal consistency, but is as real as that to me.
Sure.
But with that said, there's still like analogies to psychology that I think are useful
Yeah.
in it. So what is that about? I don't know, man. I mean, I guess you could say from like, to take the charitable interpretation, maybe it would be something like a behavior that you start in a well-intentioned way becomes compulsive or becomes an obsession or becomes neurotic in some way. Or, I mean, but maybe that's just a very, like, vanilla way of putting it. Like, I think maybe Blue Fluke actually feels like these become sort of runaway.
Yeah, I'd be so interested in talking to this guy.
I've messaged him on Facebook. We actually spoke in the past. He hasn't returned it well before we ever did this. When I first like stumbled on this, I was like,
Yeah.
"This is crazy. Can you tell me more about this?" Very nice guy, intelligent, well spoken. I haven't heard from him recently.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You know, he listened. I think he may have listened to our podcast.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's tough of like I'm coming from it from a certain we're also doing a comedy show here, and it's hard to like not it has a certain tone when the person's not here to defend it, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I don't want to be dismissive. And a lot of
Right,
people,
and I'm not trying to be at all.
Yeah. I don't think you are. I guess I want to give it a fair shake while also being honest about what I think of it or where I'm
Right.
coming to it from.
Right, absolutely. It's kind of a weird balance, especially when we're hoping to get people to come onto the show and talk about it.
Exactly. And yeah, and I think, yeah, that's 100% true. And I mean, one thing to their credit that is a big part of sort of chaos magic culture is people challenge you to try it. They're like,
Sure.
prove it wrong. Try it. Do it. See
Right.
if it works for you.
Right.
Do it and do what works for you. Discard everything that you think is bullshit. Do what you believe. Do what works for you. See if you can make something weird happen in your life.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know?
I mean, I'm part of it is going. Yeah, let's have a little demon in charge of marketing.
Dude, imagine we had a marketing demon. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I will say we might have our jobs might be in trouble if our jobs are already in trouble. Our industry's like just constantly
teetering on the brink.
Don't go into internet publishing.
No, bad idea.
It's always dangerous.
Turn back.
But yeah, why don't all companies just have little employees of demons?
Well, so actually,
I keep using the word demons, even though maybe that's not right.
Doing a fun hand puppet motion. Here's a really interesting. This is actually one of the most interesting angles that Chaos Magic takes. Is that they consider, I think many of them would consider advertising and branding specifically as an inherently magical thing. That especially corporate logos are functionally like hyper powerful public sigils
I mean, that makes sense
that
when
are
you think of it
getting
that
you
way.
to do a thing.
Sure. Yeah, that checks out.
Which
Just
is
genuinely, not even in a mystical way. Yeah, that is
like
what those do.
There's aspects of this stuff that is just like, oh, that is true.
Right.
Like what we were talking about. It's like, well, you can't make something happen if you don't know what you want to happen.
That's true.
And you can't imagine it or visualize it. It's not going to happen unless just purely by accident.
Right.
So that we mentioned egregores on the last podcast. We were talking, what the fuck?
Remind me what the fuck that is.
So you were like, I don't know what that is. So in egregore, he talks about egregores in here. Egregores are basically, I'm going to way oversimplify this, but egregores are almost like per chaos magic parlance, are like a sigil that sort of gains sentience and takes on a life of its own via the attention of many people. So like the Nike swoosh now has its own, I mean, there's like a corporate branded identity
Sure.
behind this thing. It's a thing. It's got its own aura and a set. You can tell me what the values that Nike comprise. You know what Nike is. It has a person. It has a corporate personality. It controls billions of dollars. Like, it's all over the world.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And it's gained power via our attention.
Right.
All of these things exist because we agree that they are a real thing.
You're not wrong.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, fuck. Let's talk about God forms.
Sure, let's do it.
I'm just flipping through the.
I mean, you could land on any page and just say that, like, everything in here is a mind blower.
I'm just literally flipping through, stopping, and it's just like, we gotta talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so a God form is a sentient personification of a specific aspect of the brain and a correlating nerve cluster, i.e., circuit, chakra, or sephirot.
So I'm gonna so that sentence is a great example, kind of all the ways that chaos magic fucks around.
Right.
So can you read that one more time?
Yes. A God form is a sentient personification of a specific aspect of the brain and the correlating nerve cluster, i.e., circuit, chakra, or sephirot.
Okay. So what he's doing there is referencing like 4 different systems. So one thing I think you probably would not disagree with, and I don't disagree with, which is the idea that, say, like gods or religious archetypes are probably, at least in some sense, are just literally representations of either aspects of our personality or aspects of the human personality. So like lust or rage or fear, whatever.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So he's saying these God forms correspond to parts of the brain that sort of mimic these states, these sort of super states.
Right.
Whatever. And then he's describing that to nerve clusters. And I will say this is kind of crazy. Is so like a lot of traditional medicine systems that, like, so for example, like Ayurveda, which talks about like the chakra system, which is like points in your body, the eight points in your body.
Right.
There are actually, and which Chinese medicine does this a little bit as well with acupuncture and all that. There are actually like nerve clusters in your body, sort of like, I don't know, big, large junctions where a lot of nerves and things connect.
Right. They have it outlined here actually on the page. They have it listed here as the 8 circuits of consciousness.
So that's Blue Fluke's kind of, he takes all of these systems like Ayurveda, which has like the chakras, and then there's also in like Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism, there's an anatomical aspect to this where they look at the body, and the same thing like in alchemy, they look at the body and corresponding parts correspond to different aspects of yourself, but then also different kind of like levels along the mystical path. And he's kind of condensing all of this into one set. It would be like if you took 8 different role-playing systems and pulled out the central themes in all of them.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, well, we've got attack, we've got defense, you can dodge, you can have intelligence, like, and just sort of made a meta system that you could then reapply within a specific context.
Gotcha.
So that's what he's doing there. So I think what he's saying with the God forms is like it's a way to invoke a specific state of mind and attributes. I don't know what page you're on.
Page 26.
But what else does he say there?
Okay, so continuing on. By lavishing it with devotion, you are pumping enormous amounts of attention, i.e. food, to this God form. In doing so, this area expands and it's greatly enhanced. Think of it like a muscle. The more you flex it, the better it becomes. So, for example, if you worship Thoth, in your literary skills would level up. As before, the model used will be based on the 8 circuits of consciousness, but you can use it. You can use whatever system, and I quote, "Roxors your soxors." Very internet friendly.
He like definitely slips into like super geeky hacker speak.
Hacker speak of like 2004.
Yes, correct. Hacker speak of the movie Hackers.
What a movie!
Great movie.
Great movie.
Excellent movie. Holds up.
Definitely not a product of its time.
It's a documentary of how hacking works IRL.
In fact, Hackers is the only movie I've ever watched.
Yeah,
Every
that's
day.
all I watch. I say I'm watching a different movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, what'd you watch? Oh, I watch like Netflix. I'm just watching Hackers.
It's
over and
well,
over again.
it's actually it's the witch's curse of every movie that I own just becomes a DVD copy of Hackers.
It's like the Midas touch, but Hackers.
Yeah.
The
It's-
Hackers.
I just
touch.
you buy the special edition Blu-ray, Lord of the Rings extended edition 4 DVD or like 4 discs.
Yeah.
Boom, you open it up, it's fucking 5. Not even 4. It's 5
get an
DVD
extra
copies
one.
of Hackers.
You get an extra one.
just for your hubris.
Yeah. Yes. You flew too close to the sun. You got hacked.
I gotta see another movie.
You
Eric.
got fucking
I
hacked.
can only
I don't know
see
if
Hackers.
You've been cursed, Brian. You can only watch Hacker. And I'll be watching a movie that's not Hackers, but Brian will only
It's
see
still
Hackers.
just Hackers.
It's just Hackers to you. What a strange... That would be a fate among fates. I don't know.
I feel like you would just read books.
Yeah, maybe. But it's just the book adaptation of Hackers.
It's still just all
Everything.
entertainment is a DVD copy of
Podcast
Hackers.
is just an audio-only Hackers.
God fucking
all,
damn it.
All media. Yes. Yeah. So
Well, that was a rabbit hole.
yeah, he'll do that. So Hackers. We're talking about Hackers, the Hackers Field Manual. No. So yeah, I mean, so here's an interesting thing too. So to compare this, are we allowed? Is it kosher to kind of talk about as a point of comparison some of the stuff that Emily is into, or like Wicca, or not Emily specifically, but sort of.
Yeah, she's not here to tell me whether or not what we're talking about
Yeah,
is
and I
right
don't
or
want to
wrong.
assume anything about what, but say Wicca, say like I don't know, the fucking Aleister Crowley stuff, which is a different thing than Wicca. Like these different traditions have a very specific symbol set,
Right.
right? It's like you're either talking about the Egyptian gods, or you're talking about, or like if you're doing like esoteric Christianity, you're talking about things in terms of like angels and devils and God. And what this would say and what this manual would say is like, just pick a thing. Like it could be Batman. Like, and they literally say like use superheroes if that's what resonates with you.
Interesting.
Like invoke Batman.
The light's gonna go again.
The lights are gonna shut off again. Too spooky for me.
Saved it. I saved it.
You nailed it.
What a fucking nightmare, dog.
I kind of like it. It adds a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think that's what it's almost, it's like method acting
Sure.
in a way.
A weird kind of method acting, LARPing
Yes.
slash,
yes.
but it's real, but it's not maybe, and it's fine.
like as real as you want it to be, or as
Yeah.
you think it will be.
So interesting. It's fascinating.
It's one of those things that is like you think you come in, not you, but one comes in ready to completely dismiss it, and then you kind of keep encountering concepts where you're like, well, I kind of see how that.
Right, and it was like everything you've been able to kind of justify. Like, all right, I can kind of.
Like, there's definitely more outlandish claims.
Right.
Especially in terms of being able to, like, manifest entities. I actually have a crazy story about chaos magic that was told to me.
Please.
Do you want to hear it now?
I want to hear it so fucking bad right now, Eric. You gotta.
Are you familiar with Pump's Gentlemen's Club? in
That is
Bushwick?
I believe, an establishment where they serve alcoholic beverages and people get naked.
This is correct. I used to live around there, and I was talking to a young lady who worked there, who's a dancer there, and she was either wearing like a ring or had a pen. She had something on her that was an occult symbol. I think it actually might have been, so Chaos Magic has like an emblem, which is like the star. It's like the 8-pointed star of chaos, whatever. And I recognized it, and I was like, "Oh, that's so weird. Are you into the occult?" I don't remember exactly what it was. And we got talking, and she started telling me about she used to practice and be super into chaos magic. She used to live down in Florida because, of course, she did. And she started telling me about how her and her friends started fucking around with this stuff. And they started messing with sigils and all this crazy stuff. And they literally did the thing where they wished for the car.
They literally wished for a car.
They wished for a car, got a car.
They got the car.
They got the car. There was a string of things before the car, like smaller material possessions, that they were trying to acquire.
Did they each get a car? Did
No,
they get
got
the one
car.
car?
They got one car. I don't even remember where it came from, but it was like a weird thing. It was like the classic, like not even like they saved up and they bought the car. They got a raise. It's like they came into possession of a car. Either a friend gave it to them or it was like whatever. Something
Okay.
weird. Bad stuff starts to happen to them, culminating in one of the friends who's in the car with a bunch of the other friends driving it and getting into a massive car accident.
Yikes.
And the friend who's driving dies.
Yikes.
And so she was like, I do not, like, she's like, it's 100% real. I don't fuck with it anymore. It freaks me out. I moved to New York. Now I'm a dancer, and I don't do magic anymore.
Is that, I feel like at least from what I'm seeing, the book doesn't really dive into that of like the downsides of this, of the bad
possible
things that
negative.
could, have
I
you
mean,
heard about, do you know much about that?
People will talk about that, like, I think one thing that people will say is that the universe has, like, can have, like, a dark sense of humor. It's like a be careful what you wish for kind of thing. Like, there's tales of, like, oh, you wish for just, like, a blanket sum of money, and then you get in a very bad accident and you get a health insurance payout. That
Right.
kind of, those kind of warnings.
Gotcha.
And then there's also the warnings of just, like, you're fucking with your brain.
Right.
So you can go crazy.
Sure.
If you start to, I mean, and I could see a world where you make yourself delusional.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is also fundamentally about, I mean, you could beautiful mind yourself very easily because this whole thing is about seeing synchronicities and coincidences everywhere.
Right.
And so you could start to see patterns where there are no patterns.
And that's the thing, the human mind makes patterns.
That's what it's its whole job. Exactly.
Right.
And so this is all a giant play on that.
Right.
So, like, say you make a sigil, you want to have a girlfriend, you want to meet a beautiful girl, and then next week or 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, you do. You cross paths with a girl in a coffee shop, you guys make eye contact, you hit it off, and now you're dating. Was that the sigil? Was that just life? Would that have happened anyway? Did
Right.
this somehow affect things? Like, you could go, there is no way to know.
Right.
And that is the magic of it, I guess.
I guess you're right. I mean, it is wild. It is wild, that notion of if you get into sort of practicing this, you don't really know.
You don't know.
You don't know. You can't know.
Maybe strange stuff starts to happen. I mean, that's why it kind of freaked me out, dude. After we started this podcast and we started, like, focusing on the occult and talking about the occult, and it's like started getting weird late night knocks at my door. Some things did start to happen that were weird,
Right.
that seemed correlated to this show.
Right.
But on the other hand, maybe they would have happened anyway, and I just wouldn't have thought anything of them if
Right.
we weren't doing this show.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows?
You know, like, did this show somehow cause those things to happen or attract them into my life? Or are they just random occurrences? Or are they just nothing? And you don't know.
Right. If
And-
we do this ritual, does a little demon get us 1 billion followers, or do you just start charming personalities? Do it for us.
Exactly. You'd never know.
Who's gonna
You
know?
wouldn't know. I mean, I guess the only way is just like a purely negative result. But then we could be like, well, we didn't believe in it, so
Right.
didn't you
Right.
know?
Right. Man.
It's not provable. It's why you can't, like, test placebo things.
Right. Right.
Because there's nothing quantitative about subjective belief.
Right. Fuck.
It's really interesting.
What a weird nebulous note to go out on.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we got to get an expert in, or someone who has.
I would love to talk to someone who actually does this stuff and knows what they're talking about, or someone who studied it.
Yeah, just
Because
someone.
I just scratched. I find it an interesting subject intellectually. I don't do this stuff. I think it's neat. I think this art is very cool.
I
think
think we got to do another Chaos Magic show, and like we got to talk to an expert on it because I'm fascinated by it. But we're just two geese just squawking at each
We're
other,
just
like
squawking. Love
just
to
asking each other questions.
Yeah. Are you a goose? Is this a feather? I'm very itchy. Is this my sweater? I don't know. Can I take it off? No, I'm a goose.
Hey, Eric, did you know that we have a Twitter?
We do. You know what? We do have a Twitter.
We do have a Twitter. If you want to tweet at us anything, just tell us about your day, or tell us just stuff. You can find us at Brian and Eric Pod
Brian and
on
Eric Pod.
Twitter. We're also I don't know if you knew this, Eric. We're live every Friday.
We're live every Friday?
Every Friday. Most
God,
Fridays.
yeah,
Most Fridays.
Yeah.
On Mixler.com/Brian and Eric,
Love the
we have a
mix.
chat room, and you can chat with us. Like nobody did tonight. That's okay. It's a Friday night. It's a Friday
fine.
night. I
It's
get
a
it.
Friday night.
I
What are
get
you
it.
doing?
What are you
doing?
Probably stuff.
Yeah. get
Probably
outta here.
stuff. That's
Get outta
okay.
here.
I
Go
get it.
outside.
I get it. But if you have nothing going on, you should.
It would be
come
cool.
hang
We
out
will
and chat.
talk. If you talk to us, we'll talk to you back. in the
Definitely.
chat, for sure. We've done
Absolutely.
it before. You look at our
Yeah.
earlier episodes.
Yeah.
You can watch them. I mean, listen to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, watch them too. You can just sit there and look at the album art.
Yeah, this is true.
Let's see. We're on iTunes and we're on SoundCloud. Wherever you get your podcasts. Let's see. Our music is from purple-planet.com. That's our ambiance music. And our intro and outro are by Morris Black, who you can find on Spotify and his website, where you can buy his stuff. Anything else? Any final thoughts, Eric?
Here, I got one. I'll put this one out into the
Hit it.
universe.
Hit
that
it.
would be sick if we got a logo done by Bluetooth.
That would, in fact, be sick.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Let's put that out there.
Yeah.
Let's get a little
Throwing it out into the ether.
little demon.
Good vibes. No demons, man. I'm scared.
No demon. Okay, a sigil, a walking sigil creature who we can't feed attention and we won't name and won't give a personality.
There we go.
Andrew WK, we're coming for you, buddy, man.
Hang in there, pal.
We're coming to Michigan. We're going to find you.
We're gonna party.